But in the season finale, you learn that it's just a muscle pull, and per tournament rules, Miguel has 30 minutes to get out on the mat and continue. While everybody's waiting to see if Miguel can continue, Robbie and Dimitri fight it out, and Dimitri loses, but all things considered, he actually performed pretty well. Robbie then heads into the bathroom where he sees Kenny beating the crap out of Anthony LaRusso. Anthony walked in just to apologize to Kenny for how he treated him, but Kenny went straight bully on him. Robbie has to pull Kenny off of him, and he asks him, "What are you doing?" Kenny tells him he's getting payback on his bully, and Robbie is shocked to learn that it was Anthony who was the one that was the bully. But Kenny assures him he's not my bully anymore. He then gets down next to Anthony's face and says, "Next year, we're in high school. Get ready, because you're going to be in a world of pain." You see, Kenny's last name is Payne, so that was a given. His name used to be ironic, but now that he knows karate, it fits, and he's using it perfectly. Robbie, though, is disgusted in Kenny's behavior and tells him, "This isn't how I trained you." But Kenny reminds him, "This is Cobra Kai. No mercy." Back out on the mat, Tori advances to the finals, as does Sam. But before we can have the finals, we need to figure out what's going on with Miguel. Johnny walks in the back to check on him when Kreese cuts him off. He tells Johnny, "I had no idea what Terry was doing back in the old dojo," and Johnny tries to walk away from him. "It didn't have to be like this. It could have been with me and your real son." Johnny turns around and says, "You don't care about Robbie any more than you cared about me." But Kreese rejects that notion, saying, "I cared the most about you." Johnny tells him, "You have a funny way of showing it. You had me fight dirty, also Cobra Kai could be number one." But Kreese says that's not the case. "You were down 2-0. I knew that if you lost, you were going to go down a downward spiral," which, by the way, you did. "I wanted to win for you." When Kreese brings up that maybe one day Robbie could keep the Cobra Kai name going, Johnny tells him that's not going to happen because tonight Cobra Kai is going to die. He then walks in to check on Miguel, who's got maybe 5 minutes remaining on the clock. Miguel, however, has doubts that he can continue. Johnny starts giving him a pep talk about being a champion, fighting through adversity. But he ends it by saying, "We're going to show Cobra Kai and LaRusso who's best." And Miguel realizes that's what this is all about. Johnny tries to remind him that if they lose, he can't be Miguel's sensei anymore. But after how the day is gone, Miguel doesn't even care. When the clock strikes 0, Miguel is not out on the mat. That means Eli and Robbie are going to be fighting in the finals. Miguel's actually headed home, but as he's walking at the door, he runs into Sam. He told her that it just felt like he wasn't fighting for himself anymore. Sam completely commiserates because she gets it from her dad all the time, and Miguel reminds her, "Johnny's not my dad." He then wishes Sam luck, orders an Uber, and heads home. Eli and Robbie end up fighting first. If Robbie wins, Cobra Kai clinches the championship. Robbie takes the first point, and when Eli goes back to his corner, he tells Daniel, "I don't know what to do. He trained at Miyagi-Do a lot longer than I have, and he knows all of my moves." That's when Daniel flips the script. He reminds Eli that he was at Cobra Kai longer than Robbie's been. He tells Eli, "Put him on defense." Eli ends up getting the next point, and after 3 minutes, these guys are still tied, which means we're going into sudden death. Terry Silver, though, is not happy with Robbie's performance. He feels like the fight should be over by now. And Robbie is sick of Terry's crap and says, "Do you want to go fight him?" Terry goes to step to Robbie, but Kreese gets in the middle and says, "You're angry. Good, use it." On the other side of the mat, exact opposite. Daniel is thrilled. And when it comes time for advice, he looks at Sam, looks at Johnny, and says, "Give him all you got." And he does. Eli Moskowitz ends up winning the All Valley tournament. He also keeps the hopes of Cobra Kai not winning alive. Now it's just up to Sam. She's got to fight Tori. But as Tori is heading out to the mat, she runs into Amanda. Amanda tells Tori that she spoke to her therapist, and her therapist confirms that Tori is going to the meetings, just like they agreed upon. Tori then thanks Amanda because Amanda helped find a volunteer to help out with her mom. And that's when Amanda says, "You can repay me now. I'm not asking you to back down, but just play by the rules." As those two were having an awkward conversation in the back, out on the mats, Daniel was also having an awkward conversation with Johnny. He's finally come to the realization that his way isn't the only way, and it's not the right way. He needs Johnny's help. Johnny agrees to help out, and now they're back to being Miyagi-Fang. Tori and Sam then get on the mat for the finals. Sam takes the first point, thanks to the flying tornado kick that Johnny taught her. Tori ties it up at 1, though, a few seconds later. Sam looks like she takes a 2-1 lead, but the referee decides that it was out of bounds. Tori then takes the next point, and now it's match point. Sam runs over to her corner to get some advice, and Daniel and Johnny tell her, "Use your instincts." She does. She ties it up at 2, although that really should have won it for her, if the referee hadn't called the last one out of bounds. Now both girls have 2 points, and during the fight, Tori accidentally elbows Sam in the face. It looks really bad. It also looks like Cobra Kai is back to their tactics, even though Tori didn't mean to do it. She actually apologized to Sam. They give Sam a little bit of time to get back to her bearings, and when Tori goes over into her corner, Terry Silver tells her to do it again. This is within earshot of all of the Cobra Kai kids. Terry promises her that this referee is not going to end it on a technicality. The worst she'll get is a warning. If given the opportunity, Tori is to elbow her in the face again. Tori, though, doesn't want to do that. She wants to win fairly, and she feels like she doesn't need to do those things to win. John Kreese, though, steps in, telling her, "We've come this far, but this is your fight now. So whatever happens is up to you." Tori then goes out there and gets the winning point. She has won the championship, not just for herself, but for her dojo. Johnny and Daniel can no longer teach karate in the Valley. As Cobra Kai is celebrating the victory, Terry Silver grabs the microphone. He says to the audience how proud he is of the kids on the stage, but he also says how proud he is to announce that they're going to be franchising Cobra Kais all over the Valley. It's as if John Kreese has no say in it. Kyler is planning on having a victory party at his place, and Tori's planning on going, but she has to grab her bag from the locker room. When she heads in, though, she sees Terry Silver paying off the ref. Tori suddenly realizes she didn't actually win fairly, and she no longer feels like going to a party. After the tournament, Johnny headed to Cobra Kai. He was looking for Robbie, but what he finds is a completely empty dojo with a Ford lease sign on the outside of it. Luckily for Johnny, Robbie followed him there. Robbie tells him that they're moving to a new location, which is actually the old location. Johnny can tell that Robbie's not in a great mood. He thinks it's about the match, but Robbie tells him it's not. It's about this kid, Kenny. I was trying to help him, take him under my wing. But when I saw him today, it's like looking in a mirror. At this point, Robbie starts crying. He says to Johnny, "I realized I screwed everything up because I had all this hate inside of me. For you and for Miguel. And I thought I could use Cobra Kai to control that. But it just made things worse, and it's never going to get better." Johnny corrects him, telling him he had a great thing going with LaRusso, and he got in the way of it. So Robbie should not blame himself. If anybody, he should be blaming Johnny. Johnny gives Robbie a big hug and tells him it's going to be all right. When he heads back to the apartment, he goes to check on his other son, Miguel, but Miguel's not there. Miguel headed home in that Uber, and then he wrote his mom a letter. Miguel needed to find out who his real dad is. So without his mom or his grandmother knowing, he hopped on a Greyhound bus to Mexico City to track him down, find out where his roots are. Carmen is worried sick because, as she tells Johnny, Miguel's dad has no idea Miguel exists. And on top of it, Miguel's dad is not the best guy. So Johnny reassures Carmen, "I'm going to take care of this, don't worry." That night, as the Cobra Kai kids party it up, but their senseis are just sharing a drink, reveling in the victory. After some laughs, Silver tells Kreese, "Thought about what you said about your weakness, and I realized what it is. It's Johnny Lawrence. That's what this was all about. It was never about us teaming up, and I fell for that. And you know why? Because you're my weakness." The cops then show up, and Silver tells Kreese, "I'm now shedding my weakness." And the cops arrest John Kreese for aggravated assault and attempted murder. Because Stingray was so desperate to get into Cobra Kai that he was willing to let Terry Silver beat the ever-loving crap out of him. Silver told Stingray that when the cops come calling asking who did it, he is to tell them that it was John Kreese. If he does that, he's back in. So John Kreese is put behind bars. The next day, Daniel is trying to shake the loss. He heads to the gravesite of Mr. Miyagi, asking for advice and guidance. He knows he made a bet, but he doesn't want to honor it because the men that he made the bet with aren't honorable. Daniel realizes he needs help, but he can't just ask somebody from the grave. He needs to ask somebody who can actually help him in that moment. And the person he asks to help him out is Chosen. He has Chosen to help him put an end to Cobra Kai. And that is the end of Season 4 of Cobra Kai. Thank you so much for getting this part of the recap. Consider subscribing to the channel. Thumbs up if you liked it. Smash that thumbs down button if you thought this sucked. If I do not get back to you in the comments section, don't take it personal. I'm like Eli without the mohawk. Nasty comments make me feel bad, and I kind of shrivel up into a ball and cry. You know what would make me feel better, though? Merch. If you bought some, because I have some, go buy a t-shirt or something. I got bills to pay. But just know, I really do appreciate everybody checking this out.